Okay, friends, today I'm going to be trying to work on getting this wired up, bringing it down the ROPS, and somehow into the cab here. I'd like to set the control switch right here, and so I've been looking this over, trying to find a good way to do this, and I think I'm going to have to come in through the panel here. You can see just a little bit of room here. I don't want to hit this and have the cord rubbing on that, so I thought maybe I'd try and come in through up here, but I would like it to droop down and come underneath. So underneath here is a good spot, but as you can see on the outside here, it's this plastic cover, but the plastic actually goes over the metal by a certain amount here. In fact, you can kind of see it right here. The metal is overlapped with this this plastic piece, so I need to find a good place to drill in. I'd like there to be some sort of a loop on the outside so that water can't drip into the cab, and I would also like to make sure that it doesn't rub on edges, so that the electrical cable doesn't get shorted out at some point with all the bouncing around that happens. So I'm trying to figure that out. I'm going to plug in these cables up here, and then we'll show you the rest. Come back later. So as you can see now, I've got these plugged in. Summit does a nice job of trying to make 3 cables here that are different lengths. So the farthest away one is longer than the closer one. And so both sets of 3 are connected here at the bottom, or come together inside of the housing here. All right, and down here at the end, I've taken the adapter off, and so I can drill a hole through here and push those through, and then put the adapter back on the inside. So I'll figure out where to drill that hole, and I'll come back to you. So I drilled the first hole, and this is a 3/8, and as you can see here, that's just big enough to let this cable through, but I'm going to want a grommet in there to protect the cabling, so I'm going to drill it a little bit larger. Alright, so you can see that I drilled a hole here. I started out with a 3/8 bit, and because that's the width of this cable. And then I drilled it a little bit bigger so that it was 15/32. I didn't want to go full 1/2 inch. I wanted it to be tight. I might still try and fill that in with some caulk. You can see through right up in there. You can see it's still got a little bit of daylight coming through, but what that does is it gives me a nice curve here where I can come in underneath, and I can mount it or zip tie it here against the ROPS and keep it away from this edge so that it doesn't get frayed and worn over time. And then we have, as I mentioned or showed before, we got the cables up here which I can zip tie together and just make this look pretty nice and neat. So now that that's inside, I can get the adapter to go on the end of this and hook it back up. Making progress. See you later. Okay, so I have just gotten all the pins pushed back in the back in the right order. Took a picture of it beforehand. I've got them cross our fingers in the right order based on what I saw. Now I've got this little piece that we'll put in the middle here. Click that in, and that should be ready to plug into the main controller. Now here's the main controller, and the switches, I should say. So I'm going to mount it here in this area like this, and I'll be able to attach this plug and sorry guys, sorry. So you see this plug and this plug together, and then wire up the black and the red. Should be ready to go. I still have, you know, all these plugged in. I'll wire those up a little bit nicer, but that's what I'm looking at right now. Tell you if anything changes. Okay, so I have this currently installed. I cleaned up the area and I put some 3M tape underneath there. Push it down pretty hard. Hopefully that'll sit there and hold. And as you can see, I've got quite a bit of, well, as you can't see yet, as you can see, there's quite a bit of cable coming over to the plug, then goes into this one, and I need two hands to plug that together. And the right, that female socket side, it goes outside, comes up to the summit. And so anyway, get this connected. I might take this left one here, take it apart, get some new pins, and cut this much shorter, so I don't have all this long cable to have to deal with. We'll see, but for the time being I'm going to leave it just so I can see if I can get it to work today. Alright, so got the buttons set up here. This far one is 1 and 2 and 3. I'm hoping to figure out which one's in and which one's out. I specifically want this to be, you know, especially for my top link. That's why I'm doing all this. Got a top link right here, hydraulic top link, so I can do an in and out, and hopefully I can do in and out and figure that out. I think it just depends on which side these are on. I don't want that pulling too much. As you can see here, I now have this cable attached to the ROPS via some cable ties, but it might be just a tad bit too tight on this one. I'll show you again, sorry. On this one seems really tight. So I'm gonna push this one back through just a hair. That gave me a little bit more here, and that relieves some of that stress. I'm gonna cable tie this off up here somewhere. Do some strain relief for that. And I don't think this will be in the way. You know, maybe I could get it up here against the wall, or maybe I can, like I say, cut this long one, just chop it off and attach this pin closer to it. We'll see how that works. Especially I want to see how the placement of this works. If I'm doing the backhoe and have a hydraulic thumb, I should be able to use a switch for the hydraulic backhoes, or hydraulic thumb as well. So I'm looking forward to trying it out. I still need to wire it to the battery, so that'll be the next step. Alright, so I got my top link connected there to the tractor, and previously I had these hoses made. I think I talked about those. So now those hoses are connected up here. Again, I don't know if, you know, the top one is 1, 2, and 3, or if this is 1, 2, and 3. I'll figure that out. I have the switches mounted where I can get to them through the back door, or I can get to them from the seat wherever I'm at there. I decided just to wire the switch up to this battery, because I don't want to go splicing into the tractor everywhere until I figure it out. I've got some wires down here for the lights on the back here, but yeah, I'll figure that out later. For right now, I just want to test it. I'll get back to you. So I turned it on, tried pressing all the buttons. Pretty soon I noticed a stream coming out of this one here. I had some hydraulic fluid show up, so I better tighten these guys up, make sure they're all tight before I go any further. Okay, so I figured out that it's on the number 3 switch. Certainly doesn't have any, or maybe enough liquid. It has some liquid in it, some hydraulic fluid. That's cool. Work it a few times, see if we can get it to do what we want it to do. So I had to tighten up these all these connectors. They were loose. Got a puddle here on the ground, hydraulic fluid. That's all tightened up. So the bottom ones are number 3. Right, that's this button right here, number 3. If I connected these hoses up to here, I bet you I'd use number 1. Pressing in sends it out. See? I'm pressing in. So I'd like to probably get that switched around, but it's working. Make a few adjustments. Things will continue to work, I guess.